Well, basically, in this theory, there are three levels of reality. The fundamental reality, which is described by quantum physics, the quantum states in Hilbert space, in this n-dimensional space, that is the reality where conscious experiences are. The quantum state is a representation of a conscious experience, of qualia. So it's the best thing that mathematics can get you to represent qualia, which is not a set of numbers, because probabilities are not numbers. They refer to something else. They refer to something that might happen. They don't refer to what is. So you cannot call a probability as a number is not itself a reality, is pointing to the probability of a reality. But the reality is the experience of the being of the conscious entity, which is a field that is described. But the experience can only be known by the entity, cannot be known by the mathematics, cannot be described by mathematics. You see, we have a level of reality that mathematics cannot reach. That is the key here.
Yeah.
I was trying myself, to explain consciousness with quantum physics, even though I realized that consciousness was fundamental and so on. And I told myself, I'm foolish to believe that. We need to turn it around. Consciousness must exist from the very beginning, like I had, seen, and free will had to be also, are properties of fields. They're not properties of things. They're properties of fields. And the fields don't exist in space and time. Space and time emerges from those fields. So if you start that way, all of a sudden, you can explain also why you have to have free will, which are then how the field decides what to manifest by going from probability. The theory would say you go from probability to an actuality. The actual, what's actually happened, the field makes a free will decision and manifests what actually will manifest, that you can measure in space and time. But it is a free will decision, so there is no math that can tell you what that decision is going to be. So all of a sudden you have a completely different conception of reality. So there is, go back to the original question, there is this foundational reality, then there is the classical reality of objects that move in space and time. Those are derivatives of this deeper reality, okay? And derivative on this deeper reality based on decision, free will decision of conscious entities. And there is the body. The body is a bridge between this deeper reality and the classical reality. The body is quantum and classical. The body is characterized by the type of information which are called live information, which is neither quantum information nor classical information. It's something deeper that has not been described by other physicists so far. It's just is a basic idea that has to be that way. It's essentially the best way to imagine it is like my words are waves. My words are waves. They are dynamic and they convey a lot more information than when I write down what I'm saying. When I write down what I'm saying, those are static symbols. They have lost all the rest of my emotions and whatever this dynamic wave can carry. And so live information, live symbols are just like spoken words. Classical symbols are like written words in a book, or so there is a big difference in the capacity to express meaning, because the meaning is what exists in the deeper reality. There is no information, there is meaning, is the meaning of the information in the deeper reality. In the outer reality, there is only classical information, which is symbols, numbers. There are numbers here, non-numbers here, qualia here, and comprehension of qualia in the deeper reality. And the body is a bridge that allows this deeper reality to communicate with this classical reality through the body. Look at matter this way. My theory is a monistic theory. but not in the, and I don't want to get into, these boxes. We tend to put things into boxes when, frankly, when you talk about one, where one is not made of boxes, is everything is interconnected with one. So the boxes enclose what the box is supposed to contain, like a set in mathematics. Okay, is a closed thing. Something belongs or doesn't belong to the set. So here we are talking about something, that transcends many of the mathematical concepts that are so foundational in mathematics. So here, the foundation of our capacity to know is qualia and comprehension that get us to the meaning of information. And the meaning is something that can only be known from the inside by the field that wants to know itself. So when one creates monads, consciousness units, these consciousness units have the same properties of one to know themselves. They want to know themselves. They also can procreate other monads, that just like one created the monad, created the consciousness unit. In other words, the property of these fields are the properties of one, but with the one difference that only in one point, this entity only can know reality from the point of view with which one created those entity. Since one has potentially infinite points of view, then there are potentially infinite consciousness units or monads. And so there are potentially infinite ways then that those consciousness units can combine into higher level hierarchies of consciousness units. So we are, all of a sudden we have an unbelievable structure that emerges from knowing, from the desire of one to know itself, and the fact that knowing and existing are aspects of the same thing. If you look at yourself, what is the deepest longing that you have? The deepest longing that I have myself is to know myself, to know why am I here, to know what is this universe for, to know. So to know is the deepest longing the human have had. In fact, the deepest wisdom and the deepest knowing comes from this longing, and it's given rise to then spirituality, then religions, and then eventually science. But, this longing is before all of that. This longing is there, and science is satisfying only the surface longing, the one, to understand what you can, what you can measure. But somehow science has moved away from the spirituality, has not given value of reality. I wouldn't say science with the capital S, I would say more like scientism or materialism has given only value of reality to what you can measure in space and time. So basically for this materialistic view, there is nothing other than matter. But that's a starting point. That's a postulate that has never been proven. It's a postulate to say that there is only matter. So when you know within yourself that there are things that you cannot understand, they go way beyond what can be measured in space and time, like the love that you feel or the courage that you feel, to take action against the beliefs system that are around you.